Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the video on volume of spheres. So before we do the volume of spheres, let's review how to find the area of a circle, because it's kind of related. Okay, let's just imagine that I tell you, hey, find me the area of a circle with a radius of 5. You go straight to your formula, and you know that pi is always 3.14. So you go to your formula, you plug in 3.14 for pi, and it's multiplied times 5 for r squared. Okay, no problem. Now you know that 5 squared is not 5 times 2. Instead, it's 5 times 5. So let's write it out one more time so we don't get confused there. And let's do 3.14 times 5 times 5. Your answer is 78.5. You're done, right? The formula for the volume of a sphere is kind of like that. It's got different numbers, but it's still the same process, and you still have a calculator when you're solving it, so it should be simple for you. Okay, let's say that I give you a radius of 6, okay? First things first, you go to your formula. Your formula in this case is volume equals 4/3 times pi times r squared. You are going to have a calculator, and your calculator can multiply fractions. Stop freaking out. Here, what you go ahead and do is you replace everything in the formula that you don't know. So volume equals 4/3, that stays the same, times pi, which is 3.14, times r, which is 6 to the 3rd power. Okay, now just in case you don't know how to do 6 to the 3rd power in your calculator, let's write it out. 6 to the 3rd power is not 6 times 3. That is completely wrong. It is 6 times itself 3 times. So it's going to be 6 times 6 times 6. Okay? Now if we write it out, volume equals 4/3 times 3.14 times 6 times 6 times 6. Perfect. All you have to do is multiply these numbers together. Are there a lot? Sure. Do you have a calculator? Yeah. Is it hard? Not really. You do 4/3 in your calculator times 3.14 times 6 times 6 times 6. And the final answer that I've gotten using my calculator is that volume equals 904.32. Voila! You just found the volume of your sphere, which I honestly don't even know how to draw. It's like a basketball, you know, a tennis ball. It's a ball. It's a sphere. But I have no clue how to draw it, so I'm not even going to try. This is one example. Let's do another one. My formula doesn't change. But let's say this time I give you a radius of 12. Okay, let's pretend that my radius is 12. Well, we rewrite the formula. Volume equals 4/3 times pi times r cubed, r to the 3rd power. We know that pi, no matter what, is always 3.14. So now we're going to plug it into the formula, replace everything with actual numbers. Volume equals 4 to the 3rd times pi, which is 3.14, times 12 to the 3rd. Once again, just in case you don't know how to do it in your calculator, let's write it out. 12 to the 3rd is not 12 times 3. That is wrong. It's going to be 12 times 12 times 12. Okay? Let's write it all out. Volume equals 4/3 times 3.14 times 12 times 12 times 12. Now, let's assume that you guys don't have a fraction calculator at home. That's okay. I understand we have them at school, but you don't have them at home. You can look up a fraction calculator online to let you do these calculations and these complicated things with the same kind of calculator you'll have at school. It's not cheating. On the test, you're going to have a calculator that lets you do fractions, the same way we practiced at school. So at home, since you don't have it, try and use something else. If you Google fraction calculator, you will get links. So let's try it out. 4 over 3 times 3.14 times 12 times 12 times 12. Your final answer should be volume equals 7,234.56. Excellent. And guys, I encourage you to do this on the fraction calculator you find on Google. Try and do this with me to see if you get the same correct answers. Now let's do one last one. And you know that the last one, I'm going to make it a little bit more complicated. Not a lot, just a little. Let's say that for this, I tell you that you have a diameter. Your sphere has a diameter of 9. No, not 9. Let's pick something else. It has a diameter of 11, right? So your sphere has a diameter of 11. Notice, this formula does not have diameter. It only has radius. So you need to find your radius first. Well, you know that radius is just diameter divided by 2. So take 11, divide it by 2, and you get your radius, which is 5.5. Now you can plug it into the formula. So you go back, you rewrite it, volume equals 4 over 3 times pi times r cubed. Great. Fill in the gaps. 4 over 3 times pi, which is 3.14, times 5.5 cubed. Now, once again, 5.5 cubed is not 5.5 times 3. That's wrong. It's 5.5 times itself 3 times. So it's going to be 5.5 times 5.5 times 5.5. Woo, that's a lot of 5s. Okay, so let's rewrite it. Volume is 4 over 3 times 3.14 times 5.5 times 5.5 times 5.5. Now go ahead, try to do it in your fraction calculators. I'll do it here. 4 over 3 times 3.14 times 5.5 times 5.5 times 5.5. Now this is giving me a crazy long answer, so I'm going to round it. Volume is more or less 928.74. I'm just going to round it here to the hundredths place, because afterward all I get are 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 going on forever, so I don't want to make my life complicated. That's your answer. And that's all for volume of spheres.